Hi, and welcome to Kidney Plugged In. On this episode, we proudly introduce you to Sarah. She's a young woman diagnosed with kidney disease when she was only 7 days old. Sarah's journey with kidney disease has taken her through dialysis, a kidney transplant, and back on dialysis, where she's been waiting for a kidney for the last 6 years of her life. It's been a journey of remarkable resilience, not only from this heroic young woman, but from her mom and brother, who have been by Sarah's side every step of the way as she travels this decades-long journey with kidney disease. Theirs is a story of love, bravery, challenges, and triumphs, which a family has faced together, and it will inspire you to hold your loved ones just a little tighter tonight. And since June ushers in barbecue season, the Kidney Wellness Hub, Come Cook With Us chefs Danny and Anya, have some great tips for kidney-friendly barbecue recipes and some barbecuing tips too. And then in honor of Father's Day, we have an endearing father and daughter interview with Chloe and her dad, Andrew MacRitchie, who's a long-standing member of the BC Yukon branch board of directors. So please stay with us, because all of this and more is coming up next, right here on Kidney Plugged In.
So can you tell me about your journey with kidney disease?
Sarah was born 2 months premature because of difficulties with my pregnancy. We were told that she was fine, and everything went along fine for 7 days. And at 7 days, they did some routine blood work and discovered that she had kidney failure. So that's when Sarah's kidney journey started, at a very young age and long before she can remember, I suspect. As she was growing up, she continued to go to children's every couple of months, typically. She was a very picky eater. She was never hungry, and so they supplemented her diet with extra calories, and she took a number of medications to help with her kidney failure, and eventually was on several medications, including one injection, which I imagine she remembers. But at age 7, they told us that she really needed a transplant. She was falling off the growth curves. And so at age 7, I donated a kidney to Sarah. I went into VGH and she went into Children's, and I went in at 6 a.m. in the morning on a Monday morning, and by 3 o'clock, Sarah had my kidney.
Do you remember a big change, Sarah, after you received the kidney transplant?
I do. I felt much more energetic and much hungrier. I was still taking a lot of anti-rejection medication. Mostly these ones were by mouth by now, and I was old enough to swallow medication.
So life seemed pretty normal.
Fairly normal. I did go to school, and I had different restrictions, such as wearing a mask, and I actually had to use a different washroom from everybody because of all the germs. And
You weren't allowed to play contact sports.
I wasn't allowed to play. Oh, I stopped going on the monkey bars, which is my favorite, because they could kick and hurt my kidney, which was not covered up by ribs anymore. So
the transplanted kidney.
Kidney, so it could get easily damaged.
When she went into the hospital to have her transplant, she had calluses all over her hands. And the doctors asked her what she had been doing. And she said monkey bars. And of course, they told her that there was no more monkey bars after the transplant.
So I understand you took a bit of a turn, and your transplanted kidney started not to do so well. So can you talk a little bit about that part of your journey?
So in 2015, at the age of 17, I got diagnosed with chronic rejection. And so it's a slow rejection, which means I don't feel it. I slowly get rejected, and so I don't really feel much symptoms. It slowly comes on, but I got diagnosed by biopsy of the kidney transplant.
But one of the things that was really noticeable was her decline in energy. She went from like a size 8 down to a size 2.
And the weight.
Yeah, she really lost a lot of weight, and she wasn't trying to lose weight. It was just, she just wasn't eating very much at all, and she wasn't feeling well. So then eventually you transitioned from Children's Hospital to the adult world at St. Paul's, and they basically said, well, we need to get going with this. We need to get going on to dialysis because it's not looking good. So yeah, so Sarah started on peritoneal dialysis pretty much as soon as she got to the adult world.
At that point, I had PTLD, which is called post-transplant lymphoma
disease or
disorder. I always
we're
forget
not
the
sure.
D, sorry.
So they needed to back off on the on the transplant medications so that she could fight this other problem. And so they said once we back off on the anti-rejection medications, then the kidney will continue to fail at a more rapid pace, and so we need to get you on to dialysis. So we chose to go on to peritoneal dialysis. So that's at home, and you do that overnight.
For 8 hours.
8 hours, yeah. And so then by the time you set up and clean up, you're looking at maybe 9.5 hours of treatment. So that's a fairly big impact on your life, but you do it at night while you're sleeping. So that's not so bad.
Sarah, tell me a little bit about what changed for you when you started peritoneal dialysis.
Well, at the beginning, I did gain some energy, and so I was less fatigued, and I did gain a bit more hunger. But as time went on and peritoneal didn't become good enough, I lost that, and I began to feel more symptoms such as a fatigue.
We were swimming 3 times a week, and
with the catheter, I couldn't swim anymore because of the infection rate. So that was something that I was disappointed in.
And I also understand travel became a bit of an issue too.
Yeah, so when you get put on the transplant list, if you travel, they take you off temporarily, so you have a chance of not getting a kidney.
it's also a lot more complicated to travel when you're on dialysis. Even PD, where the machine is relatively small, it's just a lot more complicated to take all of the equipment and the dialysate and everything when you're traveling. It is possible though, but it's just a lot more complicated.
So tell me, you went from PD and you're now on home hemodialysis. So how did that all come about?
So unfortunately, my peritoneum got thicker and it wasn't working as well. So I had to switch to home hemo. I got a fistula and then it had to mature for about six weeks.
Yeah.
And then I trained for another six to 8 weeks.
In the hospital.
So I officially started at home for about a few months.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling much better. I have a lot more energy on this dialysis and I'm a lot less swollen.
You were telling me earlier some of the side effects or things are itchiness.
Yes, because of kidney failure, I am itchy. I think a lot of the different therapies are helping, so I think it's slowly getting better, but it is annoying.
And so you're on the transplant wait list now?
Yes, that's correct. I'm on the kidney transplant wait list for a deceased donor.
And you've been on there for about what, 6 years?
6 years.
6 years. And yeah, she's highly sensitized, which means that she doesn't match a very large percentage of the population, like less than 1%. So we kind of knew at the outset it was going to be a long wait, but we're really keen to try and find a living donor. Mm-hmm. So that will provide better outcomes, mm-hmm. and it opens up more opportunities too. The possibility of more chances of finding a donor.
Message and I'll get back to you.
I can't believe it's been almost 20 years since we met. My whole life has changed. Whenever I felt alone, you were there for me. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I couldn't have done it without the Kidney Foundation. And now, I need you more than ever.
So Sarah, how did you learn about the Kidney Foundation?
So I first learned about it through kidney camp when I was young, going to kidney camp.
Wow, that's amazing. How many years did you end up going to kidney camp?
I think I went out for about a decade.
Oh my gosh, and what were some of your favorite memories that you had?
So I first went to Camp Zajac, and so there they had horses and the lake that we swam in. What else? I think there was archery, and then the second one we went to Camp Latona, and that was more on the ocean. So we did more ocean activities such as kayaking, swimming, tubing. Yeah, a lot more ocean and high ropes, low ropes.
That's amazing. And yeah, absolutely. Camp Latona is where we're at now, but you got to experience both.
Yes.
Did you have a preference of the kind of more inland activities or the water sports?
I always prefer the more water sports, so I always prefer more Camp Latona.
Yeah.
Just because I always like swimming and tubing, and then when I got in the older groups, you got to do like water skiing.
That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
I know I've had the only experience of a half day, but I could only imagine the years of memories that were made. Do you still stay in contact with some of the people you met?
Oh, for sure. A lot of them we have on social media, such as Facebook. I have quite a few friends that I still stay in contact with.
That's amazing. What a lifetime of memories, and people that got to celebrate that special time of just being a kid and not really worrying about kidney disease, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing about your kidney camp experience.
You're welcome.
You've been able to engage with the foundation through peer support and engagement. How have you interacted with the foundation that way?
So I've went to some online groups, and I met a single person that we talked to on the phone through engagements, peer support.
And how has that support helped you through this process of living with kidney disease and transplant and dialysis?
I think just knowing that there's others out there that have gone through the same similar situations as me that I know helped me know that there's different people out there.
You're not alone in this journey, right? Absolutely. It's one of the key pieces we see in that, and I'm so glad that you've found that resource helpful and you continue to engage. I know there's a young adults virtual group as well that you could engage with on an ongoing basis, and yeah, know that you're not alone in this. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, kidney is These are my grandpa's kidney stones. They're very precious. Kidney is a bone in your back that helps you turn. I don't know, to be honest.
They don't know kidneys are vital, do you? Get the facts at kidney.ca.
Okay, well, great to have everyone outside with us in the backyard today, and we're gonna grill up some of our chicken and tofu.
So what I've done is I've heated the barbecue up to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I've got it seasoned with oil, which means that I've put some vegetable oil on the grill with a paper towel, just rubbed it on.
So folks, what we're doing here for our food safety portion, we're using one utensil. Since we're outside, it's a little bit harder to turn around and wash your utensils. We've got the fork here for our raw chicken, and then we've got a separate side with our, what are those called? Tongs, and our separate plate. So Danny's really working to just use that fork and keep it with the raw juices and the raw barbecue sauce and the raw chicken.
So if you're taking this marinated to a picnic, you really need to make sure that you keep the chicken cold. So at refrigerator temperature between 4 degrees and 10 degrees Celsius. So you might need a cooling pack or some ice packs if you're bringing it to the beach to grill. But I had these in the fridge, right, to chill right before grilling.
Yeah, and as you take it out, you only want your raw food and even your cooked meat and poultry and fish to only sit outside in the hot summer months only for 1 hour and at room temperature for 2 hours. So really make sure you're promptly cooking and then promptly cooling or eating your food.
It's also better to probably grill your protein and then freeze it rather than, keep it ungrilled and raw in the freezer. It is better to cook it first, but you could also have this in a Ziploc bag marinated in the freezer and pull it out. When you freeze things, you're really slowing down the growth of bacteria. When you are heating them like this, you are basically killing off whatever pathogenic or sick-making bacteria is in the food. So the spot, which is the danger zone at which bacteria like to grow, it's kind of room temperature and summer weather temperature. So it's really, really important to be extra careful. It's very easy to get sick eating foods that you keep in the danger zone, and most of the time foodborne illness happens at home, doesn't really happen in restaurants. They have really strict guidelines. So it's really important to take care at home and to protect everyone around you and yourself.
Well, how long are we grilling this chicken? And did we mention we've also got some tofu on there? Again, we always like to bring in those plant-based proteins. So I've done the exact same thing. With the tofu, we just put some barbecue sauce on it, let it marinate in the fridge, and then we brought it out on the plates and are gonna grill it a few minutes aside. The tofu you want just until it gets a little bit charred. You don't have to worry as much about cross-contamination or internal temperatures for tofu as you do with the chicken, because the tofu is a plant-based protein.
It's great to include some plant-based proteins for people who want to include, plant-based eating in their life. Doesn't all have to be animal-based. When we think barbecue, we always think meat, but we could certainly grill all our vegetables on the barbecue. We can grill tofu, grill bean patties. Wherever you would use meat to make something for the grill, you can substitute a plant-based option. Basically, what you want to do is make sure you've got good high heat. And I just learned about the 70-30 rule. So you want to make sure that 70% is on one side, the first side. You don't want to turn over the protein too quickly, because then you're not really cooking the inside as well. So you want to make sure 70% of the time is spent on one side, and then you flip it over and finish the process.
The other point I'll make about the plant-based protein, it's not much in the media anymore, but there was always saying, oh, barbecue season, that's where you get all those carcinogens. And where it is in the meats when they're getting black and burned. But we're using tofu. If you're grilling vegetables, that's a really good way to still get your barbecue and get outside and get those different flavors without worrying so much about the carcinogens.
Great. So about 4 or 5 minutes have gone by, and I'm smelling the caramelization from the barbecue sauce that we had. So I'm just gonna flip over these chicken pieces, and I've used thigh, which is really good because it's already quite fatty, and it makes for a really nice barbecue option because it doesn't lose moisture as much as chicken breast would.
So we're flipping with one set of tongs, and then we will go in and wash these before we use them because that one side was raw. So really extra food safety, something to keep in mind. You do want to be going back in, washing your tongs, making sure you have a clean plate when you're going to put. Good to have everything ready so that when it's hot and ready, so you're not worried about overcooking, you've already got everything set to go.
Okay, looks like we are ready to present this beautiful chicken that we made.
Oh, it smells so good.
The juices are running clear, so this is a good sign. But we are going to do one better and check the internal temperature. This is just beautifully char grilled.
Perfect. Good job, Danny.
Thank you.
We're gonna put it down here. I've got my trusty meat thermometer. This one's not instant read, but whatever you've got, really. And you want to find, so these are quite thin pieces of chicken, so I'm pretty sure they're cooked. But Danny, can I use this?
Yes, please.
To help poke it. You do want to make sure you're not like doing this, right? Because that's not going to be the right read. You want to actually poke the chicken and get a read of the chicken. And you can see the temperature is already going up. If this is properly calibrated, which I think it did, it's going to reach 165 degrees Fahrenheit for chicken, and that's going to tell me that it's cooked.
So we're safe, and we're sound, and we're nourished, getting our protein.
My name is Andrew MacRitchie, and I have a very exciting guest, my dad. So Dad, Father's Day is coming up, so this interview is all about you. This is my dad, Andrew MacRitchie, and he's a member of the board of directors of the BC and Yukon branch of the Kidney Foundation. Welcome, Dad.
Thank you.
So Dad, what made you want to volunteer for the Kidney Foundation?
Well, it's a great question, Chloe. When I was about your age, I had some health symptoms that took me to my doctor, and my doctor ordered a kidney biopsy, and I found out that I have a slow-moving version of kidney disease called IgA nephropathy. And at the time he told me I had a 50-50 chance of losing my kidneys before I was 40. And I made it past that barrier, thankfully, but that got me interested in kidneys and kidney disease. And I saw an opportunity to volunteer at the Kidney Foundation, and I snapped it up.
I love that you paid it forwards. Since you're volunteering on the board, what changes do you want to make in the lives of kidney patients?
I'm passionate about research. I would love to see a world where kidney disease was curable, and we're not there yet. But the Kidney Foundation has helped fund so many significant advancements to kidney disease. We are instrumental in attracting researchers when they're early in their career to choose to go down the path of researching kidney disease instead of going down other medical research fields paths. And we recognize it's going to be a long road. We're not going to cure kidney disease tomorrow. And so in the interim, it's very important to ease the burden of kidney disease on people who are affected and their families, caregivers.
Wow, that's some good work you're doing. So Dad, you've been with the Kidney Foundation for a while. How long exactly have you been involved?
I think it was 2002 or 2003, so that would put it over 20 years.
Wow, that's before I was born.
It sure is, yeah.
Say, in another 20 years, what do you see as the future of the BC and Yukon Kidney Branch, Kidney Foundation Canada, and overall kidney patients?
Well, that's a really difficult question. Of course, I'd love there to be a cure. If there isn't, we have such a fantastic group of staff and volunteers at the BC and Yukon branch, and many of them have been there a long time, much like I have. And I would be surprised if 20 or 30 years from now, I was still able to volunteer for the Kidney Foundation. So we need to start thinking about who will fill our shoes when we leave the organization, so we set the organization up for success to tackle the challenges of tomorrow, so that we get equally excited, passionate, capable, driven, strategic people into the leadership roles at the foundation, at the branch, whether it's, like you say, nationally or provincially.
So, since you've been with the board for so long, is there any special moment that you look back on when you think of your experience with the Kidney Foundation?
So long, you're making me feel old. The Kidney Foundation is about stories, and stories of difficulty, but also stories of happiness and triumph, overcoming adversity. And one story from early on stuck with me, and it was about a woman who had come down with kidney disease. It struck her suddenly, and she was in the hospital for weeks, which of course means you can't work. Your rent is still due, and so you're under some income pressure. And her renal social worker came to the Kidney Foundation and said, I know that you have some funds available for people like this. Could I put some groceries in this woman's fridge so when she comes home from the hospital, there's something there? And I've always clung to that story, trying to imagine how this woman must have felt, worried about her health, worried about her finances, and to have just a small thing like some milk in the fridge and some fruit on the counter, hopefully brightened her day.
That's a really sweet story. Okay, Dad, thank you so much for that part of the interview. That was amazing.
So you have interacted with us on a number of programs and services, but you decided to join the Kidney Walk this year. Why is it so important to you?
The Kidney Walk is so important to spread awareness about kidney disease and who's infected and how much it affects your life.
Absolutely. And who's coming down with you this year?
Hopefully my whole family's going to come, and I'm very excited to see everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we will look forward to seeing your family and everybody that comes down to join us on June 1st at the Kidney Walk.
Yeah. I hope to invite everybody on June 1st for the Kidney Walk down here in Olympic Village, starting at 10 a.m. Please bring your family, friends, and pets.
Now we're moving on to some hot questions. Are you ready?
I think so.
Oh yeah. Kidney walk or kidney run?
I'm a runner.
Okay. Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Gosling?
No contest. Reynolds.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Kidney bean or green bean?
For eating, green bean.
Me or my sister?
Pass.
Playlists or podcasts?
Podcasts.
Bacon or steak?
Oh, bacon wrapped steak?
Okay.
That's more of a bit.
Yeah.
Or a das.
Yeah. Summer or winter?
I'm a skier. Winter.
Yeah. Cookies or chips?
Cookies.
Driver or passenger?
I guess driver.
Beer or wine?
Tough one. Beer.
Okay. Waffles or pancakes?
Oh, another tough one. If they're crispy waffles.
Yeah. Rain or snow?
Snow.
Pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Singing or dancing?
Karaoke's pretty fun.
Yeah, you're a singer. Extra sleep or little sleep?
Little sleep.
Chicken nuggets or french fries?
French fries.
Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Regular potato or sweet potato?
Regular, I think.
Yeah. Okay, Dad, thank you so much for letting me interview you today.
Well, my pleasure. It's been great talking to you.
I had a great time. Happy Father's Day.